Hi, Christian Meier here. We're going to give you, we've made our trip across the Atlantic here from the shores of the Vuelta and whatever else is going on in Europe, and we've made it to our home country here in Canada, and we've decided for the Backstage Pass we're going to do a little bit of history about what happened here in Canada and what's going on at the moment and what makes Canada Canada. As you can see behind us here is the quite historic Chateau Frontenac where we're staying with the race. It's, you know, they're treating us quite well and we're all pretty happy about that. And just behind us here is the river where, you know, a while ago a guy by the name of Jackie Cartier came over on a paddle boat from France, and he met a couple Indians and you know, settled down and so on, and that's where we now have Quebec shortly after. And yeah, I mean, there was a few battles back here, and there was a bit of grass up on the hill here where they fought a few battles, and eventually the Brits took over, and you know, the rest is history. And you know, the French people here are a very, very patriotic bunch and have been trying to preserve their history quite a lot. You know, Quebec's had made headlines sort of in a few years ago. A couple times they've had referendums. You know, they've tried to sort of do their own thing and separate from Canada. But alas, you know, I guess we rubbed off on them a bit, the rest of Canada, and they decided to stick with us. And you know, they bring us many things. But another interesting tidbit is it's actually against the law in Quebec to have any signage in English. As you can see there, that was just our flag, which red, white, has the maple leaf, which I believe is probably to do with maple syrup, maple leaf, so they kind of just stuck it on the flag. And also another little tidbit is Canada actually has a little bit of history with the opening ceremonies at the Olympics, and have actually flown the biggest flag ever in the opening ceremonies twice. The second time they had to smuggle it in because after the first time they actually put some rules in place, you know, regulating the size of the flag that you can use in the opening ceremonies. So Canadians are proud of our flag. Why don't you tell us, Dave, what's Quebec to you? What makes it Quebec? What's special about Quebec?
I think what is special is the downtown here where the race is. The climb we're going to do tomorrow, de la Montagne, is a special one. I used to train on it when I was young. And the Chateau Frontenac, it's a nice piece. So I think everything about the course is scenic, and even with the horse.
Well, I was just noticing that. Is the economy that bad here that they can't afford cars anymore?
Yeah, maybe. No, it's because the economy is good. They make you pay a lot to ride in those, go slow. But yeah, I just like to be here, and there's a lot of fans that come out, so it's a good race.
Super. Thanks very much, man. We'll see you out there. Not friends on Friday, huh? We're not friends on Friday. As you can see here in Canada, we have a very distinct sense of fashion, you know, a lot of furs, and that goes back actually pretty far from when Jackie first came over and met the natives. You know, fur was a high commodity to trade with, and as you can tell by the fashions, it's quite something. We rival Milan and Paris easily. Hi, so we're back here now. We've been to Quebec City. We're now in Montreal. As you can see, it's a little bit different feel, a bit more of an urban vibe, a bit more hustle and bustle going on here. And fact about Montreal, it has the biggest comedy festival in the world, just for laughs. And
I had a girlfriend 10 years ago. No, I've had other ones in between that. I'm talking about this particular one. She used to wake me up in the middle of the night and ask me questions, you know, just out of the blue. 3 o'clock in the morning. Carl, what? She says, tell me the truth. I said, I'll try. She says, do you find me attractive? I said, I can't even see her.
We have a great little thing, and where we left off actually in Quebec City was, you know, we were talking about fashion and, you know, sort of, I think that was more of an older style dating back to the first people who came on the boats and, you know, were into their furs and whatnot. But, you know, we also have other things, and one fairly well-known brand here in Canada is Lululemon, which originated in Vancouver, where we've been based now for a few years, and they're actually very well known in sort of the women's clothing department for really, I don't know how you put it, sort of keeping everything tight in the back end. So when you think Canada, you think, okay, what do they do here? What do they eat? I can tell you a couple things that are pretty popular around here. Some you may have heard of, some maybe not. Maple syrup is a pretty big product, especially from the east coast of Canada, this region, Quebec, very well known for it. One that people from outside of Canada may not know so much, it's called Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is a bit of a staple, more on the east coast, and Tim Horton was a hockey player. He opened up a chain of restaurants. You get your coffee, double, 2 milk, 2 cream, or 2 cream, 2 sugar, sorry. You got your donuts, you got your Boston creams, you got your apple fritters, you got your Bear Claws, Timbits, the list goes on and on. And, I think a lot of people with the culture, you spend a lot of time browsing around the internet. You see, I have all kinds of time. You're on your Googles and you're on all your stuff. Sometime you should check out on YouTube, check out a few things. We had a whole series of heritage commercials when I was growing up, and it was 1-minute clips about little things that happened in history in Canada. And, myself personally, probably about 95% of my knowledge base of Canada comes from these commercials. We came up with Superman. There's the Inukshuk, which is the little rock statues that the natives used to build. There was Winnie the Pooh. We had basketball. The list is on and on and on. And these commercials are great. A little on the cheesy side, but I think that's what makes me remember them the most. And another little flick. One of my personal favorite all-time movies actually is a little mockumentary called Fubar, and it's well worth a look. It gives you a real insight, sort of deep into Canadian culture, and that one is top of my list. And also, there's a couple guys on YouTube that made a little video clip a little while ago from my hometown, actually, way down in New Brunswick, rural place, and it's called "I'm from Sussex and I Know It." And it's a great video. They did a great remix, and these guys worked really hard, so check that out. It's pretty cool.
Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. She gives milk. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. She gives milk.
Back at the airport now. Everything's packed and stacked, and we're back to Europe. Short little trip here to Quebec, and all the facts that I've stated in this little clip here may or may not all be totally 100% true, but when you're dealing with a country the size of Canada and a province the size of Quebec, which is actually 50 times the size of Belgium, you'll know that there's a lot to know, and maybe next time we'll make it to somewhere I really know, like the West Coast or somewhere like that. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.